Hey everyone! I am Rabbit and welcome back to more Let's Play Star Ocean, the second story, our bonus section. So in our previous episode, towards the conclusion, I did mention that we would start out our following episode with us already at the end of level 11 and ready to tackle level 12 together. However, as I was making my way through the various floors, I ended up running into Santa, so I thought this was a wonderful opportunity for me to follow up on a conversation that we had previously where we discussed Identify All and just how effective it can be in lowering the prices of some things. Now, as a quick aside, I do want to note that the game is incorrectly showing that my super specialty level for this is only 6. However, I actually have this at level 10. The reason why it is saying that we only have level 6 is because we have Claude and Opera by themselves, and the rest of our party is waiting for us on floor 1. So what I will probably go ahead and do, even though I'll still show you how this works at level 6, as soon as we come back together as a full party and we make our way back down, because I guess as a forewarning, level 12 has a lot of running up and down, and there's just a lot of little stuff that we can and will end up doing, so it's not as simple as just showing up on the floor, fighting a boss, and then advancing onward. Oh, no. Not this deep in the Cave of Trials, my friends. Would they make it that simple? So with that being said, I will come back and I will show you Santa a second time, and we'll look at it also at level 10. So anyway, just keep that in mind that this is not going to be fully accurate because, I mean, level 6 is not as great of a discount as level 10 is going to give us. But I don't want to belabor this too much, so let's just very quickly talk to Santa, see how much it normally costs. And here you go. We'll just use a Tri-Emblem for our example because that's actually what I want to buy. And let's go ahead and activate level 6. Identify All. And we'll just look and see what a difference this makes. Which again, it's not going to be that huge. Yeah, so there you go. That is the price drop. And we will be looking at this again once our full party is together. So I just wanted to take a quick minute and have like a 2-ish minute intro wherein I shared this with you. So I will part ways with you guys and meet you finally at the end of level 11 where we will, oh my gosh, tongue twister there for me, where we will advance onward to floor 12 together. So I'll see you very shortly, my friends. Okay, so here we are on level 11. Before we go ahead and head over to where the locked door was, I want to quickly show you where my levels are. Now, I didn't spend that much time seeking out fights. I did just to show you, because I don't know if I've talked about this either, so I'm now trying to scramble and make sure that I'm highlighting just little tips and tricks and things that I have done over time. So if you come over here to Scout, you do have the option of, obviously doing nothing, which is what it's default set to, but you can look for enemies, which will allegedly, and I say that with air quotes, increase the encounter rate, and then you can have it set to run from enemies. So I did have mine set to look for enemies just while I was going through floor 10 because there are a lot of really high XP rewarding monsters there. I mean, the funny thieves that you can fight on level 6, the gray metal ones, those can give you a pretty good chunk of XP as well, especially if you're coupling your encounters with extension cards. So make sure you're taking advantage of those, you guys, because they will absolutely make a difference in how quickly you can reach max level. So anyway, I did want to show you that I had it set to look for enemies. I didn't want to spend too much time running around. I will do the majority of my leveling probably after we tackle level 12 together, because just as another, I don't really think this is a tip, but just to let you know, you will have the opportunity to continuously split your party into one person plus Claude. And as I'm sure you guys are well aware by now, when you only have 2 party members, your XP that is divided among them is going to be seemingly greater for those specific party members. So I guess a better way of putting it is your XP is being split among fewer people. So since I only have Claude and Opera, when I was pairing like an extension card with fighting, there's like I don't know what you would call them. When I first came down to this floor, I immediately got into a fight right before bringing you guys back, and it was that robot monster thing. Hopefully we'll see it before we head on down to the next floor. But nevertheless, the point of me saying this is I got 800,000 XP that went to Claude and Opera because it wasn't being divided among 4 people. Instead, it was only going to 2. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that if you feel you're behind on levels, this is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of the fact that you can focus your XP on 2 people as opposed to 4, and that will be available to you from here on out in the Cave of Trials. So anyway, I'm going to actually switch this to run from enemies just to hopefully decrease the encounter rate as we're exploring in today's episode. I have mixed feelings about Scout. I don't feel like it makes a significant difference, but some people swear by it and always have it on. So that's completely and totally up to you. But I don't want to spend forever just talking about strategies and the floors ahead of us. Let's actually get to them. And hopefully you guys can see the monster I was talking. Oh, this is him. This is him. So let me show you. Again, extension cards. I showed you guys that I think it's great to just reproduce these because they are so wonderful. And it's easier to hang on to one and reproduce it than it is to try to make new ones, in my opinion. So that's just my strategy. I always have at least one in my inventory, and I just use the reproduction ability while someone is playing Hail the Goddess. Most likely it will be Opera since she has become my musician in this playthrough. And then I just make as many of them as I can. So we'll take this guy out. He's not too tough, but as you can see, he is very resistant to damage. But that's okay. It's not too big of a deal, honestly. I am excited to find him, though. That's perfect, because I was just sharing with you guys how I had gotten into a fight as soon as I descended those stairs from 10 to 11. And this was what I was met with, and I was elated. So there you go, 840,000 XP when paired with an extension card. Like, you just can't, you can't beat that. It's amazing. So make sure you're using them. And I guess, again, just to share with you guys, I'm going to go ahead and have Opera do this because I know that there's so much to this game and it's hard to remember everything. And I'm just going to use my Ririka. And we'll just make as many as we can. Usually you can make anywhere from 3 to 4 depending on how you've organized your inventory and such. As you can see, I'm just kind of fumbling through this, but it's not that important to me to make a bunch of them. Materials are not that scarce for me right now, and I feel like we're in a good enough position to where I can get whatever I need to continuously produce these. And I guess let's just... I didn't mean to necessarily make a dummy doll, but while the song is still playing, I like to go ahead and just do something. So, yeah. That's okay, right? So there you go. I just made a couple more extension cards just to remind you. And honestly, if you want, you can probably just use them pretty much in most fights that you're getting into from this point forward. You don't have to. If you want, you can save them for boss fights or specifically when you're trying to grind, but I'm going to use it just to kind of maximize how much XP I'm getting from the limited fights that I will be engaging in since I have Scout activated, and hopefully it's going to lower my encounter rate. So far it does feel like I'm not getting into as many, but anyway. Oh my gosh. We're just not getting a break, are we? Well, as you could see when we were in that, in the previous screen, the door that was previously locked is now open. So we now have access to level 12. Oh my god, those things drive me crazy. But since we have 2 party members as opposed to having all 8 people, the door magically unlocked, which is interesting. Like I said, I personally like it because it does give you a chance to focus your leveling efforts onto 2 people as opposed to having 4 active members on the battlefield. And as you can see, we're just skyrocketing in terms of levels. So you can switch out Claude, but you can switch out Opera with someone else. But anyway, we're here on level 12, also known as the Hall of Warriors, and this floor is very straightforward in my opinion. You're not really looking at anything too crazy here. Let me go ahead and take these guys out. A few also. Alright, there we go. So it's one of those floors that is fairly small. Honestly, there are only 3 paths that you can really take. There's a right one, which we'll go to first. There is a left path, which we will take afterwards, and then a northbound path. Alrighty, so let's see what we have here. A battle suit, just a little too late, video game. And then some more bunny shoes, which, oh, actually, you know what? This is a perfect time for me to talk about something else that I had been meaning to mention at the end of our previous episode. So you guys may recall, I was lamenting how I hate how very slowly Leon runs now that I swapped out his bunny shoes with, I think he has on rune shoes. But what I didn't mention is that for those party members that have on Valiant boots or Valkyrie boots, even though these boots are not as fast as the bunny shoes, I'm sure you've already seen since we've had several fights so far together, that they're very comparable in terms of speed. They're not as fast, but you don't really notice the difference for these boots as much. And even if you do kind of feel it, I think having the defensive boost is well worth being just a touch slower than if you were wearing the bunny shoes instead. So I did want to go ahead and mention that I do very much like Valkyrie and Valiant boots. They are the best boots in the game. So even though I was cute-cueing about how I miss the bunny shoes, these are better. Okie dokie, so our right section is done. Let's head on over to the left. I think it's also worth mentioning in terms of the XP that I am acquiring just from running around here. I do have practice enabled, but we should turn it off before we head into the northward room because the boss is going to be waiting for us there. Well, let's see what is over here. We've got a Valkyrie guard, which is very nice. We will hand that over to Opera here in just a second, and another battle suit, which we will not really be able to use. So let's go ahead and swap out that shitty buckler. As you can see, this is a very nice upgrade. The description says it is a beautiful armband possessed of the strength of the Norse maidens of battle, the Valkyries. And here's its stats page, just so you can take a quick peek there. So this is what Opera presently has equipped. And for Claude, I was meaning to give him this last time, but I forgot. So there you go. You got to see on camera. That is what Claude has equipped. So let's head on over to the main hall and then straight up. Alrighty, here we go. So before we even engage this guy, again, just as a reminder, don't forget to turn practice off. I mean, I guess you could leave it on if you really wanted to, but I'm going to opt to have it off just to cover my bases because you very well could die. I wouldn't say this bird is that hard, but I don't know, he has the potential to fuck your shit up. And anyway, let's go ahead and get this going. So Claude says, what is this? The phoenix responds, I live eternal. Nature rules me not. You have overcome mortals. Think you to overcome gods? If heroes worthy of holy swords you be, 'tis I who shall see. And here we go. So I would say the key to this fight is to keep him peeped, which we've already got that going, so I'm not going to waste any time. Let's use an extension card to maximize the experience points that we'll receive following this. Honestly, as I was starting to mention, if you can keep him peeped, he's not going to even have a chance to do his shitty master attack on you, which means more than likely you should be able to wreck his face. So even though I feel like I say this very frequently, as long as your levels are comparable to mine, you should not run into too much difficulty. So I think we're in a pretty good place right now. We'll see if I can keep him down. And he's down. And Claude's going to be an asshole and stand on Opera's head. That's fine. But we got 2 levels for each of them. Fantastic. And that's what I mean when I say extension cards are really going to expedite the process of reaching max level on everyone. Anyway, to continue with what the Phoenix was starting to say, cut the darkness with the sword of light. The coffin of sealing will open with the holy sword. Farewell. And dun 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 dun, we receive one of the best swords in the game, the Holy Sword Farewell. I suspect that that's supposed to say farewell and that it is a typo, but meh, it is what it is. So let's come over here and read this tablet very quickly. Something's written on this stone tablet. Light and darkness, sacred and evil. The way to the holy alcove of time will open when the opposites meet. Very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and check this door, but it is shut tight, which kind of brings us back to what I was mentioning earlier when I said that this floor has a little bit of running around attached to it. So let's just go ahead and use a Go Home Frog. We'll reassemble our party. Let's get the entire party together. And to come back again to something else I had begun to mention to you guys about Identify All and how it was saying we had level 6. Now that we are all back together, you can see that we do in fact have it at level 10, and that was just, I mean, I guess it's not an error because it was just showing what Opera and Claude had, but I wanted to let you know that I do have it maxed out. So I will run back down and yeah, let's go ahead. We'll look at Santa again together and see at that point what the price difference will be with our super specialty level being at 10. So I'll meet up with you guys on floor 6. See you soon. I know this is deja vu, you guys, but we are back on floor 6 of the Cave of Trials, and as you can see, Santa is right behind me. Not really sure why I'm talking to him first. You guys already know the cost of a Tri-Emblem, so let's just cut to the chase and activate level 10 of Identify All, just so you can very quickly see the difference that it can make. And let's just hop on down, and voila! There you go. So I'm definitely going to be picking up one of these, plus 2 more Go Home Frogs, although I probably don't need to have a flat 5. I'm just going to grab this while we are here, because who knows when will be the next time we run into Santa. So there we go. And actually, before we part ways again, because we do still have something waiting for us on floor 9, I want to show you what everyone has equipped. So I have 2 Tri-Emblems on Leon. I think that's the only major change from what you had last seen of him. Claude is the same. Ernest ended up inheriting Claude's old Star Guard, so that's the change there. And I went ahead and put the fortune back on Ernest. I'll switch this out with the new, that is the emblem. I'll switch it out with the new Tri-Emblem before we take on the next boss. So don't worry about that. And then Opera is the same. So, yet again, I will pause the camera and part ways with you all, and we will meet on floor 9 to kind of figure out the somewhat cryptic words of the Phoenix and hopefully reach the answer to how we can unlock the door of level 12 that will allow us to access level 13. So I will see you in just a moment. Welcome back, folks, to floor 9 of the Cave of Trials. As you can probably immediately tell, the coffin looks much different than it did previously because it's now open. And wow, really, game? Really?
Let's begin.
Well, as you guys can tell, I think it's very evident that Scout's impact is questionable. I mean, sometimes it feels like I don't get into as many encounters, but then there are moments where I just can't help but feel as though it makes zero difference. So, oh God. Okay, Claude. Let's use a Cure Poison here. And now let's examine this coffin. Was the lid to this coffin open? The Holy Sword of Farwell. It's glowing. Regret you not having awakened me. On guard. So yes, we have another...
Oh, it's just them.
I guess you could call it a boss fight. It's kind of a mini boss, but oh shit. Before I forget, we absolutely must use an extension card. And let's just immediately get into buffing teammates. This fight, it's not awful, but it can fuck your shit up. Already you can see... Oh, I've got a second before I can remove her paralysis and stone condition. Yeah, so let me... I'm trying to debate if I want to use... Yeah, let me just go ahead. And then we will... Okay. He is like right on my ass. So I need to move. Okay, sorry, I'm like trying to focus. So to finish my thought, this fight isn't necessarily hard, but if those stupid sand timer things get Dream Piece off, it can fuck your shit up, honestly. Oh my gosh, would you stop? Okay, let's cast Protection on Opera. I think we've got this though. We're a decent level. Oh no, this is not looking good for Claude. I wonder if I can just immediately intercept his bullshit and put a blueberry on him. Oh no! Well, I might be using a resurrection mist. Oh, Jesus Christ. On the wrong person though. Come on, come on, come on! I swear that stupid item bar drains so slowly. Okay, I will just use the mist so I can get the full HP. And let's go ahead and get some HP back into everybody. Guys, I'm trying to micro as best as I can here. I think we're in a good place now. I believe those stupid sand timer monsters are gone. So we shouldn't be frozen anymore, which means that the Wise Sorcerer should not be able to cast any of his bullshit. But just in case, it's always good to dish out some buffs. So as you can see, even with my levels and equipment, this can be a bit of a nasty fight, but I think it's in the bag. It's taking them a little while, but I think we're pretty good. Let me see if I can do anything else to help. I doubt it. I mean, we can see if Acid Rain is going to work. I don't think I've ever seen this be effective. Yeah, okay. Let's just go ahead and cast Extinction. I don't know if it's totally worth it when it freezes time for everyone when the spell animation is going. I'm not sure if the damage that we're dealing makes it worth it, but meh. At least it gives us something to do here. And so I'm not just running around. I wonder if this thing would be more affected by Shadow Flare? Probably not. I don't know what he is susceptible to. For those of you who have followed my Let's Plays for a while, oh yeah, that is garbage damage. I am not one of those people who cares too much about the details of boss fights. Like, I always have a general idea. I mean, especially if it's a game like this where I have played it numerous times. But I'm not one of those people who cares about the exact HP count of every single boss. And that's just not me. I'll do my best to give you general strategies that I think will increase the likelihood of you being successful and surviving that fight. But I'm not going to be that person that's like, oh yes, and they have 7,652 HP or mana, etc., etc. That is not this girl. Although I see the validity in that, especially if you're making like a written walkthrough. I believe everyone appreciates knowing those specifics. Oh my gosh, you guys. Are you going to kill him anytime soon? Well, I guess let's keep casting this. Hey, we finally got a motor mouth proc. With the Dream Piece casters gone, as you can see, this fight is going much more smoothly. I guess I could actually have Leon go in and also physically attack with my slow ass. I suppose I could have casted haste on myself. Oh, okay. As soon as I get over here, you guys are done. But we got 2 levels for Leon, 1 for Claude, 2 for Ernest, and 1 for Opera. So everything worked out great using that extension card. A must here. So the wise sorcerer says, "You are a worthy opponent. You have vanquished me. What is your wish? Possessions? Fame? Power? The place of the gods is not far, but it is evil." And here is our ultimate prize, you guys. What is, in my opinion, the absolute best sword in the game. I love the Levantine sword. I think it's great. I'm actually going to switch out the Eternal Sphere for this, and I'll be sure to show you the Holy Sword Farwell because I didn't as soon as we had acquired it. Now, just to throw it out there, if you would rather Claude have the Holy Sword Farwell, or you really are attached to the Eternal Sphere, it is my favorite personally in terms of its design, but this one is better in terms of damage. You are welcome to actually give this to Dias. He can utilize this sword, and I believe Ashton can also. Don't hold me to that. I don't remember 100%, but I do know for sure that Dias can equip the Levantine sword. So it does give you a little bit of wiggle room and some options there. Wiggle goom. Okay, so let's check out the 2 new swords that we recently got. Here's the Holy Sword Farwell. Like I said, it is one of the best swords. It is a great option. It is a legendary sword whose strength is said to increase with the courage of its owner. And there's its stats menu in case you cared. And then the Levantine sword. Look at that damage increase, you guys. I love this sword. It's wonderful. It is a legendary magic sword whose strength increases the more danger its owner falls into. And then here is its stat screen. So I'm just going to equip this to Claude, and we are almost done, you guys. I promise. The last thing that we have to do after I put the fortune back on Ernest here, we are going to run, gosh, I don't even like the sound of me saying this. We're going to run back down to floor 12 so that we can see what needs to be done to finally open that door and grant us access to level 13. And then I swear, that's it for this episode. So I'll see you in just a moment. Deja vu times 2. We are back on level 12 of the Cave of Trials. So let's head on up into this room where we had previously fought the Phoenix. And just as, I guess, a heads up, the Phoenix can respawn. So if you exit the cave and run all the way back down here, there is a possibility that you'll have to fight him again. But I mean, with 4 people in your party, it really should be no problem. And very quickly, you can see all of our levels. Opera is very close to level 200, and Claude is not too far behind her. So let's go ahead and activate this door. The Holy Sword Farwell and the Levantine sword. They're glowing. And there you have it, everyone. We now officially have access to level 13, but of course we're going to wait until our next episode before we undertake it. And I'm so sad to even acknowledge that we are very near the end of this Let's Play, the bonus section specifically. We had wrapped up the main part of the story quite a while ago. So we have level 13 plus that floor's boss. Then we have 2 optional bosses remaining. So really only 3 episodes are going to be left in this Let's Play, and I'm so sad about that. But I'm sure many of you are just excited that we have been able to delve so deeply into gameplay and explore so many cool and wonderful things that either are easy to overlook or so complicated you don't really care enough to look into it yourself. So I hope that this has been helpful for you so far. It is definitely been even a learning experience for me. Despite how many times I've played this game, I've mentioned this before to you guys, I feel like I'm still always either learning something new or relearning something that I've forgotten because there's just so much to this game. Anyway, I don't want to make this outro too long. Let's just go ahead and part ways here, and when I see you guys in our next episode, we are going to tackle level 13 of the Cave of Trials together. So until then, take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody!